Hi, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us today. So it's already October and we've started on the whole theme for the month being joy. So we're really privileged and excited to have the IEHA, the International Energy Healing Association, come along and represent today to talk about the whole concept of joy. But I'm just going to ask if initially everybody might take a moment, whether you're watching it with us now or whether you're going to be watching this video later, to just close your eyes and take the biggest breath you've taken for a while. And breathe out to release everything that you've been hanging on to, doing whatever you've done today. And let's do that 2 more times. So just a huge breath in, refreshing, calming, opening. And a huge, stale, old, thank you very much, breath out. And now that we're here, I'd like you to join with me to just really think into the lands that you are sitting on or standing on or listening in on today. The waters, be they rivers or marshes, be they lakes or little puddles. The skies above in all their seasonal change, and the seas from wherever you are. And just to feel yourself at one with all those elements. And to give deep thanks and reverence to all of those that have walked here before us on the lands that we're currently sitting on, and have been custodians, part of this land, deeply connected to this land. And also to make the intention, or join with me in setting the hope, that by working together in our wellness community today and all other days, that we're able to come back into a state of wellness in this country so that all of us can stand up and assist in the custodianship of this beautiful country. That being our highest human state. Thank you.
Thank you, Cate.
Thank you.
Beautiful way to open up today. And listening to those words, I think you get the sense of what joy and the presence of joy actually is. It's about being in the moment and appreciating all that is around. So beautiful way to start today. So our Illuminate series, and we're now into the month of October, and Illuminate was always an opportunity for us to shine a light on a word, and a word in the context of wellness. And this particular month, we've chosen the word joy. And it's with pure honor and pleasure to have Irena and the IEHA team put together a beautiful snippets of joy, we called it yesterday, of different ways that we actually can bring in daily practices joy into our life. So again, welcome everybody that is here today and also listening to this telecast to sit back and really enjoy the intention of what we wanted to create for this month, to be in the presence of ourselves, our being, and to experience what joy means on many, many levels. So Irena, thank you for you and your team for putting together the movie. And I'd love if you could just spend a little bit of a moment just setting the scene before we put the video on.
Thank you for having us. And it's very unusual for me. I've been a backseat for a few years now of the IEHA, and the universe invited me to be in a front seat of joy today. So which is I'm feeling a bit uncomfortable, like with the public and speaking and stuff, but I'm very grateful to the support of the team who brought their did the recording is to get that authenticity. Can you still hear me okay? authenticity of the quiet joy, of the everyday joy, of the subtlety of the joy. So we have a few chapters there. So there's a chapter of on joy of connecting with the group of people. And then we also run the monthly series called Healers Connect. And there's a little snippet at the end of this month's Healers Connect last week, where we are linking the two events together. It's sort of passing on the torch of joy from Healers Connect to our event today. And then we'll talk about the joy of nourishment. So Corrine, who is our blogger on the lunar month's nourishment articles on a monthly basis, she'll talk about the joy of nourishment. And then the new project is emerging, and we invited one of the members to share the joy of beginning of the creating something new, and then followed up by someone who just got blessed with the whole heap of the learning materials. So it's the Anna will be talking about joy of learning and teaching, and how one kind of comes in hand with the other, and how beautiful that feeling is, the joy of that exchange. And then finishing off by joy of being from our resident astrologer, Sina, who is running our monthly column on lunar astrology. So as an association, as an organization, we now live collectively following the moon cycles. That's just an experiment. And so that video hopefully captured it. It's very casual looking. It's not the conference, not the webinar as we normally do, but instead we give you a glimpse of into our daily lives.
Beautiful, Irena. Thank you. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to share that video that the IEHA team has put together, and then after that we'll open up to a discussion. So sit back, grab your cup of tea, and enjoy. And if you can give me 2 more seconds, because I need to also share. That might help.
Hello, everyone. It's lovely to be here. We're Irena, Martine and Jenny. Really, we're called Jim, and we're Jim for Joy this month. So we've been together for quite a few years. We've done a lot of work together spiritually over the years. And then, I don't know, for about 12 or 18 months, we didn't connect. And so, yeah, we just didn't connect. And in the last few months, we've had a need for our connection again. And it's obviously to do lovely work in the world. So it's a real pleasure to be here and to be of service to you on this journey.
So today we wanted to just showcase a bit of a joyful connection from our group. We do use the different cards for guidance. And today, Jenny has chosen the one from the animal spirit.
And it's the hummingbird card out of the medicine cards pack, oracle cards. And it's the hummingbird is joy. So I'll just read the little poem that they have here. It's hummingbird, joyful little sister, nectar you crave, all the sweetness of the flowers is the love you gave. So yeah, what does that mean? What does it mean to be joyful?
Actually, it brought me back when we first connected. So we connected initially as part of the NHS team.
That's
remember?
Right.
And then we kind of became energy team very organically for Shine community with working with Julian.
Gee, we have been working a long time.
Yeah, we've been working on different projects. And when you read that, Jenny, about the hummingbird, hummingbird to me represents Martine and your essence. Because when we had to do a meditation, record meditation for Shine community, the essence that came through for Martine was joy. Yeah. And you did record that joy meditation. So it's actual vibration in your voice, right? When you speak, you just have that nourishing and joyful essence coming through you. So that's what the card meant to me.
Yeah, because for me, joy is like the undercurrent that's constantly there, because joy is the really true emotion, right? This is the key true emotion of our being. So it's actually the energy of the soul. So it's always there as the undercurrent. It's just a matter of accessing it and allowing it to bubble through. It's like a champagne bubble coming through, but it's always there. So it's just a matter of, removing what is interfering with our connection with it. We are joyful being by nature.
Yeah. That's what I believe. It's our innate nature. It's always there. We always have that beautiful mentally healthy state underneath all the drama, and we can access it whenever we want. Yeah, it's just so beautiful to be able to know without a doubt that that's there and it's solid in us. Yeah, magic. Life gets in the way. We do forget having the ability to remember that that's what we are, and the energy of life flows through us regardless of what's going on in our personality and our personal life and our dramas.
Yeah, I have this image of, like the ocean, the waves can be really rough from the top, but if you look down, it's very peaceful and very joyful.
Yeah, exactly. So I've got, I tell my clients that, it's like a jar of muddy water that you're shaking, and you can never get clarity while you're shaking the bottle. You can only get clarity if you put the bottle down and allow it to settle. And our mind's the same. Yeah. Because there's joy once you get everything settles and you get clear.
Yeah.
And then you can, we can, like, as energy healers, right? So we can work on the water quality, just to anticipate the question, what do you do with that mud that is still there? We know that it's there and it will bug us, right? So we need to do something about it. And we can work on water.
But I think that's life, isn't it? I mean, we do have things happen, and that's just the muddy water that sits there. That's living.
Also, I think when you have that joy, it links with peace as well. So joy and peace together, really.
Oh, yeah.
So it's very powerful, very powerful. Like even to do a simple meditation every day to just reaccess how we reconnect with that joy through anything. Like just reconnecting, activating the cell memory of that joy. That's very helpful as well.
And how would you do that?
Or just remember, a joyful moment in your life and just really relive that moment and just like beam that energy throughout your body. Yeah. And so it recharges the healthy energy to yourself. Because we forget, we tend to focus on what's wrong all the time. And we need to remember there's a lot of good things that's happened. And then, and that links to gratitude, which is also like healing. So it's like, like they said, like the old couple that stay together a long time, the secret is that they always remember the happy time. And they only talk about the happy time. So it's like...
Yeah, that's a secret to a great relationship.
Secret, right? So, and laughing. Laughter is a medicine, right? Laughter is very powerful. So, but, you can consciously reactivate that. If it doesn't happen naturally, you just sit down and just like, with intent, reconnect with that beautiful memory and then re-feel it again, re-experience it.
Do you find that the more you do that, the more joyful you are and the less you focus on the negative stuff? Yeah. And to remember that we make the feelings from our thinking.
Yep.
It doesn't come from outside us. It's all created within us. Yep. And because that's the case, we have this huge amount of power to actually influence how we experience life.
Yep. And I think it's time to reaccess that power.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, perfect.
So shall we do one card for the community?
That would be lovely.
And so these are the set of cards that we are using, sacred geometry cards. So this is the one that came through. So it has the two sides, this card, and number is 74. Ya Akil, 74 adds up to 11, which is our all-time favorite number, represents the portal, the kind of gateway to the new opportunities, joyful opportunities. The quote that comes with this card is by Joseph Campbell, and it says, "We must be willing to let go of the life we have planned so as to accept the life that is waiting for us."
Why I choose the Olympics as the logo for this series of seminars. Basically, this is this three differentiation, three parts is present in a lot of different traditions for a lot of different things. My inspiration came from the work of Witty, and especially the Aura Soma system, where we associate blue with the primary color, so where the color where every other color comes from, in a way, energetically speaking, not pigmentation, of course. And that energy is a representation of trust. So if we think about the first phase that we did last month, was about calming the spirit, starting to take the toxicity out of the energy system so that we can enter a phase of trust. That what's happening to us, it's happening for a reason, that the healer that we connect to is there for a reason. So we start to trust the process. And that's why I had the blue phase. The second phase, so the one that we talk about today, it is a yellow. And yellow is very much related to joy. And I would differentiate joy from happiness. Happiness, I find, is a very, it's almost a superficial level of joy. Joy is much, much deeper than happiness. Joy is a state where you are happy to embrace life as it comes. And this is exactly the phase that we dealt with today. We work out the blockages, we're starting to remove them, and now we're opening ourselves up to life. We're opening ourselves up with joy. So yes, bring it on. I have the tools, I have the techniques, I've made the choice to be able to do this. So I'm happy with whatever comes my way. And that's why joy is as I intended in the healing process, if that makes any sense. And if you have anything to share, about joy, I'm more than happy to listen to that. Anybody?
Yeah, we're not going to be here for 2 minutes if I start on joy. We're going to be partying for the next 30 minutes, and I'm going to have music on, and we're going to go for it.
Well, that's what joy does. That's what joy does. Exactly. That's the effect of joy. And the last phase, which is the red phase, is the embodiment. We allow the things to come, we start to trust, we start to feel them in our body, we're happy with what happens, and then we embody that healing. We embody our new self, we embody our new version. So literally we come out of a healing journey, long or short, as a different being, as a different person. Maybe as our original version of ourselves that has gone through a little bit of a rough patch, but we embody that healing. So that's why the 3 colors were there, just in case you were wondering. And also I think our partner, soul advisor, was asking for a little bit of a note on joy, and we gave the note joy here.
Hello, this is Corrine to talk about the joy of nourishment. When you think about nourishment, it is food, the joy of eating healthy, the joy of cooking healthy. For me, the food is secondary. Yes, I love cooking, baking, feeding visitors. It gives me a lot of joy to do that. But the joy of nourishment itself is that place, the kitchen. I grew up in a house with a tiny kitchen, yet my mum will always be cooking with extended families gathering around, women chatting and laughing whilst cooking. As soon as family dropped by unannounced, which was very common where I grew up, food became the priority. Once we sat at the table to eat, then the joy would explode in the mouth with the different colored vegetables, sauces, the spices, and of course, an amazing dessert to finish the meal. Thank you.
Dijana here from Dijana.org. I'm doing this really quick recording about, let me show you, joy, joy, and a new project that I've started that I'll mention in a minute. So firstly, in relation to joy, joy is this extraordinary heart-centered attribute. One of the reasons, I mean, other than the obvious reason that joy is so full, the energy of joy, the frequency of joy is so full of life and passion and all the things charged with divine life, with this beautiful heightened sense of expression. Even when in stillness, observing nature, sunshine, children playing, the feeling of joy is still so vibrant. But the reason why I love joy the most is because it has, in my personal experience, the quickest transformational power. So when we are sad or we're grieving or there is something going on in our life that is potentially a little bit denser, heavier, sadder, more frustrating, give joy a chance, and joy can literally change your mood from 1 second to the next, like that, so quick. I wish everybody a joyful week, many, many infinite moments of joy. And in the spirit of joy, let me share with you, I've started a new podcast called Nova Holistic. And Nova Holistic is about educating, inspiring, and empowering the collective to begin to view their life through the filter of wholeness, through aspects of self such as mind, body, emotion, and spirit. So in this podcast, I hope, my intention is to feature many modalities and many practitioners that contribute to all of us feeling more whole, healthier, by way of course, health and full well-being. So I want to invite all practitioners, members of the IEHA and Soul Advisor, to let me know if they're interested in being part of this podcast, and I will send you more information about it. Essentially, it's an interview or a conversation online about your modality, how you help, what is your work, and those sorts of things. So let me show you this. So there on the bottom, right there, email me on that email your expression of interest and we can have a chat. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful day. Bye.
Hello, everyone. Now, what does joy mean for me? Joy is a trinity. It's love, peace, and joy. It all goes hand in hand. I just got back from Brisbane the other day, where I met up with the family of a very good friend who sadly passed away. She's been my spiritual teacher for over 12 years. She's been in the spiritual work for over 50 years. And her family has asked me if I would be interested in her work. So I've come back with a 20-kilo suitcase of notes, books, which Elizabeth has written down over her career. I was simply overjoyed that her family trusted me with these very precious notes. And also they've asked me if I would be interested to teach and to pass on her beautiful teachings. She devoted her life to love and peace throughout the world. She lectured all over the world because she survived concentration camp in Indonesia. So her mission was to spread peace and give hope, joy, and love to as many people as possible. Now, I would like to do a small reading from her book. It's called See Beyond. Very few understand God's will in its truest form. However, when you learn to love yourself, to listen to every part of the system, you will be able to both radiate perfect harmony and attract the right creative force within the system. This, in turn, will allow the correct alignment of the central core of your being with the universal mind of God.
Hi, my name is Sina McCullum and I'm an astrologer. I've been invited to share a few thoughts on the topic of joy from the perspective of astrology. I've had my daughter home for the last 2 weeks for school holidays, and that made me think how joy is just so natural for children, how they are the masters of joy. So I wanted to approach today and what I'm sharing with you from that perspective. So how I find joy from astrology with my daughter. So for the last 2 weeks, there's been a lot less time looking at my computer screen and looking at charts and tracking the movement of planets, and a lot more of, well, obviously just being with her. And the way Lumi, my daughter, and I engage with the planets and astrology together is through actually connecting directly with them in our sky. So whatever we see in our sky. And that gives us so much joy. And I wonder if any of you can relate to that, how you see a really bright star in the sky and you wonder if that's Venus possibly, or perhaps that's Jupiter. And perhaps you go ahead and find out what it is, and the joy of actually identifying that bright star as a planet. It's just always exciting. So I'd like to invite you to experiment in really just engaging with the planets, with the stars and astrology through more of a simple and direct way, how people used to do it before we had all the modern technology and ability to track the movements of the stars or the planets that we can't even see on our computer screens. And another one that's always joyful to see is the moon. And I'm pretty sure that's something a lot of you can relate to. When you see the full moon, perhaps you didn't even know it was the full moon and you just happen to notice the moon shining brightly, the beautiful round full moon shining brightly on you. And it's just that moment of joy, pure joy for witnessing that beautiful moon in the sky. And I think in terms of the topic of joy and astrology, I just felt like spending a few moments on reflecting on simply connecting with our heavenly bodies through simply gazing them and looking at them and finding them in our skies. We are approaching full moon, so hopefully some of you can find a moment after the sun goes down to go and admire that gorgeous moon, and perhaps start cultivating practice of really directly engaging with the moon in the sky by just looking at it, spotting where it is, taking note of when it rises and when it falls, and finding that simple pleasure in doing so. Thank you for having me today, and I wish you all a lovely week ahead.
So that was a beautiful reflection of joy from the IEHA team. And again, Irena, thank you for you and the team for putting that all together. It was showing, I felt when looking at just taking that time to find the joy in the little things, and just really appreciating all that life has, and doesn't need to be something large, it's just to be present and to be in the moment. So from my perspective, what I'd love to open it up to, for us to discuss what did that invoke in you? So from Cate, when watching that, what was evoking for you?
Well, I guess what it brought to the fore was really how energetic the state of joy is. So I was very glad to invite the International Energy Healers Association to present, because the talk was of pale yellows and brightness and directions and paying exquisite attention, coming into the moment, all the things that comprise joy. The ways back to joy, or the ways through to joy, were all very, very energetic, and all about energetics and all about awareness, which is what energy healing is all about. So it was really gorgeous. Yeah. I loved it. And I liked seeing Sena there too, presenting about astrology, and suggesting strongly that we look at the full moon, which is so important. It's a theme for us here at Soul Advisor. It's a theme for you over there at IEHA. And yeah, I love that aspect of joy that she shared.
Thanks, Cate. And Lisa, did it invoke any thoughts for you watching the movie that the team put together? You're on mute if you wanted to share. Yes.
I must have disappeared for a second. During the video, my son came home, of course, so I missed a little bit of it, but I came in at the end. And I think one of the things maybe that on reflection, what I caught was just how simple joy is. Like, it's not anything complicated. it's you just find it in what's around you, and how elevating it is, but it's just how simple it is. It's not anything complicated.
It's what you're saying. It's an invitation for all of us that we can tap into at any time, but it is a conscious choice. And I suppose, from that perspective, sometimes the simplest of things, sometimes the hardest things to do, because they are there, but you need to always consciously make that decision. So, Irena, we talked yesterday about even the process that you and the team have gone through to create that. Did you want to share a little bit about that?
Yeah, but it's interesting, watching it again now, in a complete set. It actually helped me to detach from the energy building up to the event, because we did have a bumpy road. We had it. Lots of personal things happened which were not that joyful, but watching it now, I'm really, really grateful for the team to put that subtlety and kind of capture that childlike curiosity and give the space in between the words. It's helped me a lot to actually arrive to vibration of joy, and have all three of you here today is just an incredible honor and gift.
I love the way that it was emphasized by one of the presenters that joy is a gateway to opportunity, Irena. And that expansive quality that you get with joy, it's all out there. And so all your tendrils are interacting, and possibilities are coming in, and inspirations flowing in, and you're connected. And so I really loved that part that was brought out too. And it definitely feels like that, this is the beginning of talking and walking together.
But coming back to the energy of joy, I suppose I'd love to know people's views on how that relates to wellness. We talk about each of these themes illuminating what they are, but then that connection in the context of wellness. So in light of it being a vibrational thing, it being a state of being, how do we see joy and being a conscious choice of being joyful? How do you feel that flows into your definition of wellness? So hi, Corrine. I'm glad that you came to join us, and we've just got to listen to the beautiful movie and your joy of your family in the kitchen. I just wanted to be there. Your story was wonderful. I so want to go and visit Corrine and her family and enjoy. But we've watched the movie, and we're just having a few questions afterwards. So we'll come to you in a minute, if that's okay. But Cate, from that perspective, in the context of wellness, how did you see that?
In the context of wellness, joy is a guiding force, isn't it, really? Because you experience joy when you're well. Of course, you can experience joy when you're not well, but the better you feel, the more connected you feel. And so you're part of the cosmic joke. And so it becomes fun, to be alive, and things flow, and you're open to it, and you're not resisting, and you're not experiencing a need to pull away because you're trying to heal little form. So I feel like joy is very much a part of wellness, but it's probably more in the definition, although it's also in the cure to get to wellness. I mean, that's what we're seeking. Yeah.
There's a lot of evidence and studies showing that the state of joy or happiness or gratitude, they're all little toolkit, can really improve your immunity system, can actually reduce pain, can alleviate, anxiety, depression. So, there is definitely, I feel, a connection, and maybe it is because of your vibration, or maybe, your energy and what your vibration, what you're attracting, but it also has that physical element, that the physical body and the physical form is also receiving benefits the more that we can actually stay in that space of joy. So, Lisa, did you want to add anything from your perspective as a practitioner, as an individual? What do you view joy in the context of wellness?
Yeah, look, I think in the context of wellness, I think it's that I guess what you were talking about in terms of the expansion, Cate, about that expansion, so that in that state of joy, it's almost impossible to contract and kind of hide away in that form, and in that sense of wellness, when we're tight and contracted and kind of in that looking down at the ground all the time kind of world, it's I wouldn't call that necessarily wellness, you know what I mean? But when we're able to even have a moment of joy, even if it is just looking out the window and seeing the moon for that 30 seconds, there's that moment that your body can experience that expansion and that wellness, which can then really touch those parts of you that need the light, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I think that's a beautiful way of putting it. And I'm remembering that I've been reading some research which talks about the fact that your average human experiences awe 3 times a week. And that can be awe at something that's natural, or it could be awe at a conversation, or watching somebody's act of chivalry, or whatever else it is that goes. And it's that, isn't it? That's a very parallel sister kind of emotion. When you go into awe, it creates this incredible feeling of connection and joy that happens. So, you know, you mentioned looking out a window, even if it's a little thing, looking out a window, it's they've found again and again that hospital rooms that look out on even one tree, people get better quicker than if they're in a square box. So it's that connection to nature that brings up that, can really evoke that sense of joy. So I guess that if I was to say any one thing that should happen, if somebody's trying to get into a joyful state, is something that we practice in yoga, which is watching the sunrise. So we make sure that we're there for the moment it lifts above whatever our horizon is. And we try and keep the eyes open so that tears often fall down your cheeks, but it's like trying to keep the eyes open and gazing upon all those colors, and then closing the eyes and feeling that energy move through you. And that's the cure that we always suggest for people who are going through a bit of the opposite of joy. Yeah.
Thanks, Cate.
Okay.
And sorry.
Oh, sorry. I was just going to say, and after that, Cate, even, or as well as that related to joy, I think, is innocence. I think that seeing things from a new perspective, a different perspective, where I think awe and innocence are really go hand in hand, and it's just that that childlike kind of essence,
which is what Sina's part of being actually touched on, wasn't it? To sort of see astrology away from the computer and the charts, but just to connect with the stars and to wonder at the moon. Corrine, we got
and how wonderfully.
Sorry.
How wonderfully it links with your next event. How beautifully it links into your next event of with Soul Advisors, with the stargazing. It's incredible.
Beautiful. Corrine, like, from your perspective, we got to hear on the video, and as I said, it really took me back to those times when family came together, and I really loved how you said that, you know, it wasn't the food was the nourishment, it was the place, it was the connection, it was community. Is there anything you wanted to expand on that in regards to wellness and nourishment?
It's not necessarily nourishment, but to come back to what you guys are saying about joy and wellness. I think when we are in a state of joy, our vibration is very high, which means we attract less negativity, and we're less anxious. And also, I believe that your aura will probably get brighter and bigger the more joy you have. And that also helps with all the depression and worries. If I'm feeling a little bit down, I go in the kitchen and I look into the pantry and I start baking something simple, like even with the puff pastry, a bit of Nutella, but while I'm preparing it, the joy comes because I'm thinking, oh, my little boy is going to eat it. My husband's going to walk out in a minute smelling the Nutella and go, oh, what are you making? So straight away, you know, if I'm having a bad day, it's just that joy of, oh, I'm cooking for them, they're going to be happy, and it's contagious. I start feeling, okay, I've got a purpose here, it's making me happy, I'm baking this simple little treat, and it sets the tone for my day. So yeah, it ties in with the nourishment. It's probably not healthy.
But
But
it's,
you know, anything to get rid of that little anxiety, or we all have our demons, and me starting the week on a Mondays, I get this fear and anxiety because it's a new week. So I notice the baking is on the Monday where I'm like, oh, okay, they're going to be happy, and that helps me to progress through the week. So.
And just you saying that, I recall what Martine said as well, where she said, the happiest relationships are the ones that always focus on the good times. Do you mean? So again, it's for me, I think when talking about joy, it's not in acknowledgement that we have a range of emotions as human beings, and we're going to have difficult and challenging times, and times that we're angry, and times when we're sad, and times, because that's what having a human experience is all about. But it's that when it's appropriate and when it's the right time, that conscious choice to go, but I'd love to focus on here. So from a relationship perspective, to focus on the good, or as you said, you know, for me to go into the kitchen and then start focusing on the joy, not only for yourself, but how that emanates into your family. That's when we become that conscious choice of where we'd like to be. Irena, is there anything else that you would like to add around what we've touched on today?
The joy and wellness. So thank you for sharing such a beautiful palette of colors. To me, connection between joy and wellness is also embodiment. As a young child, and you know, lived a very traumatic youth and childhood, so I used to use my ability to escape from the body, you know, kind of leave the body unattended in a physical form, right? So much easier to hang out there with the stars in etheric. But the joyful moments I found, like my favorite game was playing with the flowers, right? So just creating the scene, setting the scene, giving the kind of the ball and making the dresses out of the flower cups. And that, I remember, brought me back into my body, grounded me back, so I can actually witness what's happening. And I really, you know, it might feel a bit heavy, and it might feel a little bit unhealthy at the moment, but at least we know, you know, the state of affairs, so, and we could influence that. So for me, that's the joy, is that the tool, the vehicle that brings us back, grounds us back to our body.
To our body. Thanks, Irena. Well, what a beautiful discussion. And I feel like it's a lovely way to end, is to say that I've had a wonderful, joyful hour spending with everyone here today. Again, I would love to acknowledge the team, Irena and Corrine, but the rest of the team of IEHA that have put together that beautiful video. It's sort of like when we just had another film that Cate shared the other day about gratitude. It's you know, different aspects of it. So I'm really feel very blessed that you put the time and energy to put that together for us. So thank you for sharing. Thank you for everyone that's been here today. You know, Lisa, I hope your son walked in with a smile on his face and did that's good. That's very
It was actually joyful.
very joyful. And I hope you all have a beautiful rest of the week. So thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dan.
Bye.
Thank you, Cate. Thank you, everyone. Bye.